Just a bit of preamble to the video. The first photo is the pair of oars with the blades connected to the lengthened shaft, and the second one is a view back down the shed with the 2B made up or handle ends. What I actually ended up doing was on the upper, the oar on the right, I ended up chopping another piece out of that and putting the original handle back on. That piece of wood on the right hand oar is actually one of the original oars off the mirror dinghy. It's much too thin, so I've spliced back in the original oar handle, which you'll see in the video that's coming up, and I've strengthened or beefed up the diameter of the old mirror dinghy oar with fiberglass. The one on the left is a single piece, which is the rounded over boom of the mirror dinghy. These are square, as you know, and I rounded it over just using electric plane, hand plane and so on to make it a round instead of a square. It took ages. Like I also say in the video, the ferrules, the joining pieces, the brass joining pieces, the oar on the left hand side, that's been permanently screwed together. They wobble otherwise, and that would annoy me. And like I also say in the video, apologies for the repetition, they do just fit inside the boat. They do lay down. In terms of sculling, the little block I've fitted, which is arrowed on this photo, will accommodate a rollock. I can use one of the boat rollocks. It's just a open rollock, so that'll fit into that for sculling over the stern, which I've never tried, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Looking forward to falling in over the side drying. This is a jig that I've made on my table saw. Bought this channel. It's spaced slightly off the board, as you can see. It goes inside that channel on the saw. And this piece, which is the fence, I suppose you call it, is screwed in there. So I can adjust the angle if I want. I don't know what angle it is. Does it say there? There, 25, 30 odd degrees. I can't remember. It's the same angle I used on the scarves anyway. So that's the jig I used to cut the scarves for the oars that I'm about to show you. You lose this thickness, obviously. It works well. The primary issue you've got is holding onto the work. I actually, when I cut the oars to scarf them, I actually screwed the oar to this because it was round, and I didn't want to lose any of these parts on this badger. So that's the jig. This is one of the oars that I've made up. They were originally about 6 foot long, and what I've done is I've scarfed in a new piece of timber. This has been glassed over, obviously, and then there's another scarf in there. So that's the original oar handle. It's been lengthened by cutting that section. These lovely brass, what's the word? Joining pieces, ferrule. Not sure what this would be called. So I've taken, they were tinned, but I've stripped them all back to the brass. I've refitted them and I've polyester resin them back onto the ends. There were originally a was originally rather. Here's the business end of the oar. There's the blade. See that? And you can see there's a little spring-loaded stud that used to go to that hole. The original oars were about 6 foot long, and they're now can't remember actually. Oh, long enough. My only concern is they're probably not really thick enough, and that spring-loaded clip that I showed you, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to permanently screw that bit to that bit, so the blades, the shafts are going to get permanently screwed in. They just fit inside the boat when they're made up, in the down on the sole. Like I say, my only concern is they may be a bit slender. I'll just have to see. I don't think I'm going to pull hard enough to snap them, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to bend. So I may end up further reinforcing the shaft, if that's the right word, with fiberglass. That's fiberglass biaxial cloth wrapped around in a spiral, polyester resin on it, and then I put peel ply over that, and then I wrapped it round with just thick masking tape to seal it all together while it cured. It worked quite well. And you just run a Stanley knife down the whole thing and just strip the whole, all the peel ply and the tape off, and you're left with a really decent finish to apply the next coat to. I mean, it's quite strong as it is. It's bendy, like I say. That's my only fear, is it not really being strong enough. Well, it'll be strong enough, but it's going to bend. Anyway, this one was for, like I say, for sailing with Dave, because I told him I'd do a video about how I've made my oars up. So they were originally 6 foot, they're about 10 foot long now. They're not quite right for the size of the boat. There's some weird calculation you use. Look at Roger Barnes' videos. He's got, or his book, Dinghy Cruising. He gives you that actual calculation. But at 6 foot long, they'd have been completely useless given the freeboard on the boat, and that calculation of how long the oars need to be for the size of the boat. Cheers.